everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you've ever stepped onto a ship, one of the very first things you've probably noticed is that iconic bright orange life jacket. It seems pretty simple, right? Just a bulky piece of foam. But today, we're going to completely change how you look at it. We are going to decode the incredibly strict international regulations that transform that seemingly simple piece of foam into a highly regulated, life-saving marvel of survival engineering. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is the roadmap for our explainer today. 1. Anatomy of a life jacket. 2. How to don a life jacket. 3. SOLAS regulations. 4. LSA code standards. And 5. Crucial takeaways. Section 1. Anatomy of a life jacket. The ultimate survival tool. I want you to really picture this for a second. Imagine falling overboard at night. The sea is pitch dark. The water is freezing cold. The waves are choppy and just relentless. In that terrifying moment, the absolute only barrier between utter chaos and your survival is your life jacket. Its singular, vital job is to keep your head above water and your nose and mouth safely out of it. So what actually makes a life jacket SOLAS approved? Well, this isn't just your standard flotation device. It's built with buoyant material or inflatable chambers engineered to do one specific, honestly incredible thing. It automatically turns the wearer face up. It is literally designed to prevent drowning, even if the person wearing it is completely unconscious. And to make sure you're actually found, every single one of these jackets comes equipped with a whistle to call for help and a water-activated light glowing with the intensity of one candle that remains visible for up to 8 straight hours. Moving right along to Section 2, how to don a life jacket, because seconds matter. Look, knowing all the engineering specs in the world doesn't mean a thing if you can't put the gear on quickly when an emergency strikes. The actions need to be simple but precise. First, you slip the jacket over your head, making sure the front faces outward. Second, you pass the straps around your body and waist. Third, you adjust everything to a nice, snug fit, securing that front buckle and tying the collar straps. And finally, you cross your arms over your chest to prepare for the water. Once it's on, you'd immediately use your whistle to attract attention and double-check that your light is actually functioning. But what if you actually have to abandon ship? There is an exact physical technique required to safely jump into the water without displacing the life jacket or, worse, hitting the water face first. You must support the life jacket by placing your left hand on your right shoulder, then pinch your nose and close your mouth with your other hand. Keep your feet completely together and jump straight down. This specific technique ensures the impact of the water doesn't violently force the jacket up into your neck or jaw. All right, Section 3. SOLAS regulations explained. The law of the sea. Let's zoom out from the individual survivor for a second to look at the ship-wide legal framework dictated by the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. SOLAS mandates strict allocation numbers for every single vessel. The baseline is super simple, a minimum of 1 life jacket for every person on board, but it gets incredibly granular from there. For voyages under 24 hours, the ship has to carry infant life jackets for at least 2.5% of passengers. Over 24 hours, there must be 1 infant jacket for every single infant on board. For children, the ship needs jackets for at least 10% of the total passengers. SOLAS even mandates extra life jackets placed strategically at the bridge, the engine control room, and manned watch stations. And for crew or passengers over 140 kilograms or with a chest size over 175 millimeters, special accessories like extension straps must be readily available. The rules constantly adapt based on voyage length, age, crew location, and passenger size. Now, you might be wondering what the real difference is between these and standard jackets. Let's clarify that. A non-SOLAS life jacket is generally meant for recreational or inland water use. It helps you float, sure, but a SOLAS life jacket provides a rigorous life-saving design that explicitly guarantees face-up flotation even if the wearer has passed out. It is a completely different tier of safety equipment altogether. Which brings us to Section 4, the LSA code standards, the science of survival. Transitioning from those legal allocations into the incredibly specific data-driven life-saving appliances code, or LSA code, we see exactly how this gear is constructed, tested, and categorized. For example, children absolutely cannot wear adult life jackets. The LSA code mandates exact height and weight categories. An infant jacket is strictly for those under 15 kilos and under 100 centimeters. A child jacket covers 15 to 43 kilos. And adult jackets are for anyone over 43 kilos and 155 centimeters. This isn't just arbitrary bureaucracy. It's because body proportions dictate exactly how buoyancy acts in the water. If the sizing is wrong, that automatic face-up turning mechanism we talked about simply won't work. Now let's kick off a rapid-fire sequence of LSA code specs, starting with this number, 1 minute. The code demands that 75% of completely untrained persons must be able to correctly put on the life jacket within just 60 seconds. It has to be that intuitive. Next up, 4.5 meters. The life jacket is rigorously tested and required to withstand a jump from a height of 4.5 meters without causing any injury to the wearer, and critically, without the gear tearing or displacing. Moving right along, we have 150 newtons. Under SOLAS regulations, an adult life jacket typically must provide 150 newtons of buoyancy. That is the exact mathematical force deemed necessary to aggressively keep the wearer afloat and continuously face up, even in rough seas. Then there's 0.75 candelas. That white light attached to the jacket doesn't just need to simply turn on, it must emit a minimum intensity of 0.75 candelas. And it has to maintain that exact brightness for over 8 straight hours to maximize visibility for nighttime rescue operations. And honestly, this next spec brilliantly illustrates the staggering precision of the LSA code, 50 to 70 flashes. That light cannot just be steady. To best catch the human eye during a chaotic wide-scale search, the code dictates the light must flash exactly 50 to 70 times per minute. Not 40, not 80, exactly 50 to 70. This level of precision totally extends to inflatable life jackets too. LSA code 2.2.2 covers these, which are incredibly common on compact ships because they're lightweight and comfortable. The redundancies built into these things are just fascinating. They must have at least 2 completely separate air chambers. They have to inflate automatically the second they touch water. But just in case, they also need a manual pull cord inflation system, and they must allow for oral inflation of both chambers through a tube. Because they rely on CO2 cylinders and mechanical inflators, the law explicitly states they must be professionally serviced every single year. And finally, Section 5, crucial takeaways for survival readiness. To bring this whole explainer home, we've got to connect all these rigorous engineering codes back to everyday, practical responsibilities. Here are the essential maintenance and storage habits required. You must physically inspect your life jacket's light and whistle weekly. There are mandated monthly and annual visual inspections. The ship has to keep spare batteries and replacement straps securely on board at all times. And, perhaps most importantly regarding storage, you must never stow life jackets under heavy items. Their locations must be clearly marked, and they have to be instantly accessible, ready to be grabbed in the dark or amidst total panic. If this highly engineered gear isn't accessible, none of the math or the codes matter. I want to leave you with one final provocative thought today. If the lights went out tonight on a ship, could you successfully grab and don your life jacket completely blindfolded? Because in real maritime distress, visibility is often near absolute zero. You're dealing with darkness, freezing water, and panic. Practice, drills, and pure muscle memory are the final unwritten rules of survival. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it completely changed your perspective on this vital piece of engineering and leaves you eager to learn even more about maritime safety. See you next time.